I still remember the moment the ship's horn blasted, deep and final, like the closing of a coffin lid. My son Michael had hugged me at the dock, his cologne sharp against the salt air. "Mom, just relax," he'd said, pressing the ticket into my trembling hand. "You deserve this," I smiled, believing him. Then I turned the paper over, one way, no return. My knees buckled right there on the gangway, the ocean wind whipping my gray hair across my eyes. The crew member steadied me, but his grip felt like iron. That sound, that horn, still echoes in my dreams. If you're listening, stay with me. What happened next will chill your blood and warm your heart in the same breath. My name is Eleanor Thompson, 72 years young, or so the mirror lied this morning. I lived in the little blue house on Maple Lane, the one with the crooked mailbox and the rose bushes I planted the year Michael was born. Every dawn I'd shuffle downstairs in my worn slippers, the wood cool beneath my soles, and start the coffee. The percolator hissed like an old friend. I'd stand at the sink, watching steam curl against the window while the neighborhood slept. That silence used to comfort me. Now it screams. I'd fold laundry the way my own mother taught me, smoothing Michael's old college sweatshirts even though he hadn't lived here in 20 years. The fabric still carried faint traces of his teenage cologne, the one I bought him for prom. I'd press my face into the cotton, inhaling ghosts. Then I'd cook, oatmeal thick with cinnamon, bacon crisp the way he liked it whenever he visited. The sizzle filled the kitchen, masking the emptiness. I left a plate on the table, covered with a napkin, just in case. Most mornings, the napkin stayed crisp and untouched. I remember the garden best. Kneeling in the dirt, soil cool between my fingers, I'd talk to the tomatoes. "Grow strong," I'd whisper, the same words I used on Michael when he had nightmares. The sun warmed my back, sweat beaded along my hairline, and the scent of turned earth wrapped around me like a shawl. I'd planted those bushes with hands that once rocked cradles, hands that paid tuition, hands that signed away my pension so Michael could buy his first condo. The roses bloomed red, defiant. I never noticed the thorns drawing blood. Flashbacks come in waves. Michael at 6, fever burning, me cooling his forehead with washcloths while his father worked late, again. Michael at 16, totaled the car, me selling grandma's pearls to cover the insurance hike. Michael at 30, wedding bells, me sewing seed pearls onto Sarah's gown until my eyes crossed. I walked him down the aisle when his father refused. "You're both my boys," I joked. He laughed, but Sarah's smile never reached her eyes. The shift was slow, like frost creeping across a window. First, the visits shortened. Then the phone calls. Sarah started answering Michael's cell. "He's in a meeting, Eleanor." Click. I'd send birthday checks. Thank you cards stopped coming. I'd drive 2 hours to their McMansion with homemade lasagna cooling on the passenger seat. Sarah would wrinkle her nose at the foil pan. "We're doing keto now." Michael barely looked up from his phone. Money became the language they spoke fluently. "Mom, the firm's expanding. Could you float us 20 grand? Just till bonuses." I refinanced the house, again. The mortgage papers trembled in my arthritis-knotted fingers, but I signed. Michael promised, "Next year, Mom will take you to Tuscany." Next year never came. Next year never came. Last Christmas, I baked 12 kinds of cookies, the kitchen thick with vanilla and regret. They arrived late, Sarah's heels clicking like accusations on my hardwood. Michael kissed my cheek, distracted. During dinner, Sarah announced they'd booked a cruise, Caribbean, 7 nights. "You'd love it, Eleanor, but the kids get seasick." I smiled until my cheeks ached. Later, I found the brochure in the trash, my name circled in Sarah's perfect script, then crossed out. The cruise ticket arrived in March, creamy cardstock, gold embossed. Michael called. "Surprise, Mom. You've earned a break." His voice bubbled like cheap champagne. I packed my good sweater, the one with pearl buttons, and the photo of Michael graduating summa cum laude, my pride pressed between album pages. At the port, Sarah hugged me stiffly. "Enjoy the relaxation, Eleanor." Michael squeezed my shoulder. "Love you, Mom." The gangway rose behind me like a drawbridge. The first night at sea, I couldn't sleep. The ship's engines thrummed through the mattress, steady as a heartbeat, someone else's. I wandered the deck, wind slicing through my thin cardigan. The stars looked close enough to touch, cold and indifferent. In the gift shop, I bought postcards. Wrote to Michael, "Wish you were here." Dropped them in the mail slot. They'd arrive after after day 3, I found the manifest in the purser's office, left open by mistake. Passenger Eleanor Thompson. Port of disembarkation. None. My stomach dropped like the anchor. I confronted the captain, voice shaking. There's been a terrible error. He checked his screen, face softening. Ma'am, this is a relocation cruise. Family-sponsored, permanent residency transfer. The words punched the air from my lungs. Permanent, sponsored. Michael's signature at the bottom. Bold and careless. I locked myself in the cabin, the ocean vast and hungry outside the porthole. The ship's brochure boasted worry-free retirement at sea, but the fine print mentioned memory care decks, locked wards, medication schedules. My hands shook so hard the paper rattled. I saw it then, Sarah's smile when she said the kids get seasick. Michael's quick glance away when I asked about coming home. That night, I didn't cry. Something inside me calcified, hard and glittering as the diamonds I'd sold for their down payment. I sat at the tiny desk, ship stationery crisp beneath my pen. I wrote letters, one to my lawyer, one to the bank, one to the realtor who'd coveted my little blue house for years. I used the ship's business center, faxes humming like angry bees. Cancel the refinance. Sell the house, full asking. Update the will Michael and Sarah removed. Proceeds to the women's shelter where I'd volunteered since his father died. I initialed every page with a steady hand. Dawn found me on deck again, sky bleeding pink into the waves. The ship docked at a private island, all-inclusive, no extradition. Crew wheeled out passengers in bathrobes, some waving, some vacant-eyed. I slipped past them, clutching my purse like a life raft. Found the staff ferry, the one that supplied the kitchens. Slipped the cook a $100 bill from my emergency stash. Take me to the mainland. He didn't ask questions. Back in port, I rented a car with the last of my credit. Drove through the night, radio off, just the hum of tires and my heartbeat. Pulled into Maple Lane at sunrise. The for sale sign already stabbed into my lawn, bright as a wound. Inside, the house smelled of lemon polish and betrayal. Michael's old sweatbands still hung in the basement. I left them. They came 2 days later. Michael's SUV screeched into the driveway, Sarah's blonde hair whipping as she marched up the steps. The doorbell chimed, frantic. I opened it calmly, coffee mug warm in my hands. Mom, what the hell? Michael's face was red, eyes wild. The lawyer called. You can't do this, I sipped. I already did, Sarah pushed past him. That cruise cost us $30,000. You were supposed to stay. Supposed to. I tasted the words. Like I was supposed to have grandchildren who know my name. Like I was supposed to die convenient. Michael's voice cracked. We were helping you. The house was too much. You're not safe alone. I set the mug down, ceramic clicking against wood. I changed the locks yesterday, new code. You don't have it. Sarah's mouth opened, closed. This is elder abuse. No, darling. This is consequences. Michael reached for me. I stepped back. Touch me and I call the police. I have the cruise manifest. One-way ticket. Attempted abandonment. They're very interested. The color drained from his face. Sarah started crying, mascara rivers. We didn't mean, you meant every zero on those checks I signed. My voice stayed level. Ice over steel. Leave, now, they left. The SUV reversed too fast, tires spitting gravel. I closed the door, leaned against it, and for the first time in years, the silence felt like mine. The house sold in a week. I kept the roses, dug them up myself, roots wrapped in burlap damp with morning dew. Moved into a sunny apartment above the bookstore downtown, windows facing the park. Planted the roses in whiskey barrels on my balcony. They bloomed fiercer than ever. Some evenings I sit with tea, watching children chase pigeons below. The necklace Michael gave me for my 60th, the one I pawned for their cruise deposit, I bought back. Wear it now as a reminder, cool against my collarbone. The broken bowl from their wedding gift, I glued the pieces into a mosaic planter. It holds African violets, purple and stubborn. I learned the ocean doesn't keep secrets. It gives them back in waves. Michael calls sometimes, voice small. I let it ring. Sarah sent a card, apologies in calligraphy. I used it as a bookmark in my new journal. The pages fill with recipes, garden sketches, plans for a trip, Tuscany, alone this time. The empty chair at my little table doesn't ache anymore. It waits for friends, for laughter, for the life I deferred. Sunrise paints my walls gold every morning, and I greet it barefoot, coffee steaming, heart wide open but no longer bleeding. Listen close, dear one. Love is not a debt to be collected with interest. Sacrifice without respect is just slow suicide. Hold your dignity like the rarest pearl. When they try to toss you overboard, swim. The shore is closer than you think, and the water teaches you exactly how strong you are. The roses are blooming again. I think I'll cut some for the table. Red, like the flag I finally raised for myself.